Okay, we are going to do a roster roast of sorts with chat live on Twitch. This is kind of like a let's see where I'm at type of thing. I'm actually curious if chat can find any ammo on my roster. So I'm actually supposed to do a roster roast on Goofy's stream in the near future, but I'd like chat to warm up on me. That being said, I've been played for, I don't know, like 500. Let's just look. 528 days. I'm currently sitting at 15.3 million TCP, and we're going to let chat let me have it. Since there's not really a way I can show chat while we do this, I'm going to, I'll read out the funniest stuff they have to say. So let's get into it. I'm averaging right around, so how you figure out your average daily power, you just take your TCP and you divide it by your days played. I'm like almost 30,000 TCP per day. Yeah. So to start out with, I have Infinity watched, favorited, and Handblade Master is favorited simply because I'm using him to get to these Brawler ISOs to level them. Brawler ISOs are the only ones I don't have maxed out. So yeah, we're going to let chat take a look while I scroll down through my roster, and I'll kind of just tell you guys my way of thinking, who I focused on, who I didn't focus on. I think it'll be pretty obvious which is what. So I'm going to take me out of the picture so we can better see my roster while we're doing this. So hold on, let me find this. Webcam, boom. Okay, here we are. So obviously at the top of the roster, you're seeing a lot of important characters. Most of these are 6 red stars. I've been pretty fortunate over the almost year and a half of playing the game where I've been able to acquire 6 red stars on most of the important characters. Did not get a 6 red star Kestrel, unfortunately. And with Gamora's new value, I'm probably going to take Gamora from 5 to 6 red stars first. So yeah, the first thing that people are pointing out is that I need to put more investments in my Adam Warlock. Yeah, my Adam Warlock is trash currently. He has not been leveled. So chat is funny. This is so far I like that. That's the best joke you guys can come up with. So, so as we scroll down, I'm sure you guys will have more ammo. Yeah, currently most powerful character is Moondragon. I did get a 7 red star Moondragon. She only has her special done so far. We'll probably do a T4 priority video on them at some point. As we scroll down, it is up at the top. It is the who's who of important characters. So I've done pretty well with only investing in some of the best characters in the game. I do feel like Hela was going to drop off. And with her coming from defense and going on offense and war for me, I did not level her up to tier 15. So she is stuck at tier 14. It is not because I don't think she is valuable. She is great in Dark Dimension 4. Yeah, chat's saying, man, we can't roast this. Yeah, it's pretty tough, but we'll keep scrolling down, and probably the funniest stuff is towards the bottom. Again, yeah, some of these characters have been power crept a little bit, but these are these are the who's who of characters that I feel like have some relevance right now, and I've invested in them accordingly. So, as we make our way down, I thought about taking Electra up to tier 15, but I feel like Shadowlands is online without having to do that, and I don't feel like there's going to be a massive return to take her to tier 15. So there she sits. I think at one point I regretted taking Coulson to this point, but I use him in raids on the regular now, so I'm glad I took him there in the Greek raids. I did buy some costumes, someone pointed out. I do have I think the Electra costume's good. Whatever. That's a good costume. My favorite is actually Deadpool, though. My favorite costume. Okay, I'm gonna point something out right here. Have not finished him. Very close to tier 14. I didn't. Yeah. This is an oversight. My Shuri is actually Healer ISO and not Raider. There's an inside joke there. Some of you will get it, some of you won't. As we scroll down, I did get the costume. Yeah. Captain Marvel. I think this costume looks cool, so whatever, I got the costume. I think I got that one for free, actually. So I just stumbled upon that one. Squirrel Girl. Have not finished her yet. No T4s on her. I think she's kind of fine how she is. Which also brings me to the first character. I think this is interesting. The first T4 I ever put on a character. This is the first T4 I ever did. And I don't know if people remember this, but there used to be this little trick you could do with when you were in raids. If you didn't unload with Shuri's ultimate, you could stack up the charges and obliterate people with her basic. So I would just basic people to death, and that's why I tier 4'd it. That's my very first T4 I ever used. I probably wouldn't T4 that if I had a choice now. But back then, it felt like it was it was my first one. I didn't know what I was doing. It seemed like it was smart at the time. So that is my first T4 ever spent. As we scroll down, I don't know if I regret this or not, taking him to tier 14. Power armor has been power crept. I really hope that they, for those that haven't seen it, we have a cool video about Iron Man being reworked in a new Stark Tech team. I really hope that happens. But yeah, that's a good video. Check it out. Here's another character I have taken close to leveling up and just stopped. Someone pointed out my Red Skull bothers them. Okay, I need you to elaborate. My Red Skull is, I don't know, man. Like, he's good enough. I just don't feel right putting in any more investments. I feel like he's good how he is. I do use him. I use him in raids. He is on my my G3 Hydra Guardians, Zemo, Asgardians, whatever you want to call them. And Ultron. Some people would probably argue that Ultron is maybe not worth the investment anymore, but I I just want to see how good he is with the third red star. We're not doing anything with these little red star upgrades anyway, unless you're hoarding in hopes that they will they'll add Doctor Doom to it. I'm going for it. I'm going for that third red star. I'll report my findings when I get there. It's probably going to be a grind, but whatever. Okay, now we're getting into characters less invested in, I guess we can say. I feel pretty good about where they're all at. So, I will say this, though. If I had this to do all over again, I wouldn't put anything. I would not unlock him. I wouldn't have taken him to this point. I would have done nothing with this character. Anything that requires leveling a bunch of minions, I'm not on board with anymore. Someone asked if my Stark Tech is finished. It is not. I'm getting real close now. Super close. Not quite there yet. Someone pointed out, Frankenbeans pointed out, he's the king of focus crackening. I have, in fact. I've invested really heavy 30,000 TCP per day to get to this point, and it has been pretty much focus crackening to just try to get a most optimal roster, and I feel like I've been pretty successful. Someone pointed out my Negasonic. Yeah, I just feel like this is a war team. I took them to a functionable point to where I feel like I can take out most mercenary teams that haven't been over-invested in. So if someone over-invests in mercenaries, I just use Black Order on them. Or even Hydra Guardians. In hindsight, I probably would not have leveled Karnak, but by the time Inhumans started to change as the meta, where they place there, I had already taken them this far. So, yeah. Someone pointed out she is the linchpin to that team. I fully agree. Where? I gotta find, though, where is my Deadpool? Where is Deadpool? Did I pass him already? I don't know where Deadpool is. Anyway, I bought his costume too. He's up. Up. Dang, really? He's that far up? I didn't think he was that far up. $113. Okay. That'll make it easier to find. Boom. Okay. Thank you for that. I do think this is the coolest costume in the game. And I was excited that they put this back in. Some people have said when the game launched, he was a gift to the community, and I think they took it back or something. I'm not sure how that worked. But this costume was in the game 3 years ago, and then they took it away, I guess. Which I find fascinating that they took it away. But yeah, I do think that that's this is currently the coolest costume in the game, so I had to get it. I absolutely love Deadpool, one of my favorite Marvel characters. It is the one movie I've watched other than the John Wick movies. I've watched the John Wick movies a lot. Deadpool 2, I've probably watched a dozen times since the beginning of COVID. All of the Pimtech, other than Ghost, I took them all to this point simply to unlock Jubilee. They're all at this point no T4s, stopped at tier 12 gear. They're all except Ant-Man. Ant-Man might be level 3 ISO. They're all level 4, and I stopped. Ghost is the only exception. So travel back down. Nick Fury is also... Nick Fury is also one where if I had to do this over again, I would have skipped him entirely. The only reason So I got to a point where I unlocked him. So as you can see, I got him to 6-star and I stopped. Originally I had unlocked him only at 5, and it was just to play around with them. I do not have his costume. No Nick Fury costume, unfortunately. I'm not really that interested in him as a character at this point in the game. I took him up to 6 simply because I wanted to test him with Kestrel. I thought maybe there'd be some wild teams that I could make using him in Kestrel, but as the meta shifted, I quit doing that. I really don't use Nick Fury anymore. So as quickly as I used him, I stopped just as fast. And the fact that I have to level a bunch of minions in order to do that, I'm not a fan. So I would not suggest to people, new players, leveling up Nick Fury or Iron Man. The requirements are absolute trash. So, Kitty Pryde, she is on a meta team. My reasoning for not leveling her past this or putting a T4 investment is because in a lot of the game modes where I use Astonishing X-Men, I use Dad Bros in place of them, so that way I get a twofer by leveling X Factor and Astonishing and then using them as a hybrid team in places where they both can be used as a requirement. I did invest in my mercenary team as a war team. That is the only reason that this character is leveled to this point. But typically, as you'll see when we get towards the bottom, I have ignored my minions to a great degree. The minions are crazy, crazy power crept. The minions are absolute garbage in this game. Hydra Scientist I was using in a Hydra team. That's the only reason he's even leveled to this point. And then I stopped leveling him. So I stopped at level 70. He is what he is. This kind of pains my soul. I have a 7 Red Star Wolverine, one of my favorite Marvel characters, and I have not even put any ISOs on him. He's not good. He's not a good character. So for you guys unlocking him, new players, he's not really worth the investment, but I love him as a character outside of this game. So, yeah. Here's another, darn it, that sucks, Spider-Man. Also, because you get Spider-Man so early in the game, he's okay to level, you just got to know when to stop. There is a stopping point where you should no longer level him any further. So if you are a new player, do not take him past this point. Do not put T4s in him. Don't take him past tier 12. I don't even know if I can co-sign on taking him this far. I do feel like there was reasoning behind taking him this far and it might have been just because he was on a war team at some point and then I benched him. So I don't even know if I recommend taking him to this extent. There is a point you should level him, but there's a point you should stop as well. Same with Miles. Same exact boat. Vision used to be in the meta. He is not any longer. Let's see what look at that health. He's absolutely garbage now. New characters now have absolutely insane health. And so, as you can see, my supernaturals have not been invested in. Neither have my guardians. I reached a stopping point with them. So at one point, this was a team I used on war defense. Then I switched them to offense, and now I have quit using them altogether. It just got to a point where I felt like the juice wasn't worth the squeeze, and I just quit leveling my supernaturals. Some people have very big supernatural teams, and they leveled the ever-living piss out of them. That's your prerogative. They are useful on a bunch of teams in war offense. They are very great and even a hard counter for some things in war to use offensively. I just felt like with the how rapid teams were coming, that it was safe to abandon leveling them. Yeah, I also have a 7 red star Mantis. Cool character in the movies. I think she's, but yeah, not worth taking past. You probably shouldn't even level her this far. There are some people that still find a use for Drax. I just am at a point where he's not a good character for me, and I stopped leveling him at this point. Same thing with Punisher, just doesn't feel right. I had a big Captain Marvel already, so I put Captain Marvel in his place on Skilletary, just because I didn't want to dump all the resources into him. So, yeah. He's, this is where he sits. Punisher, getting no love. Same thing. There's Researcher. At one point, I really loved AIM. And I leveled AIM up to a point to where she got this far. She has 6 red stars, and I just could see AIM being power crept. They finally, AIM finally came off war defense. I used them on offense for maybe 2 weeks, and now they're completely benched, and I don't use them any longer. Yeah, Wakandans, same thing. I leveled them only to do Chaos Theory. So my Wakandans, that is as far as I leveled them. Chaos Theory is one of the most important events that comes around. So there was a stopping point where I was able to defeat all of the milestones to get the gold upgrade thingamabobs that you use for taking your characters from 5 to 6 and 6 to 7. And then I stopped. I quit leveling them once I got to that point. Nobu, I leveled him simply this far just to unlock Phoenix. And this is the point I took him, and then I stopped. Same thing with Hand Assassin. Took her this far, and then I stopped. And Kingpin was actually on some... Kingpin was actually being used on some teams at one point. He's just at this point, with all the teams relying on speed bar, stuff like that, he is just way too slow. He is a poor investment. I would not use him. Hydra, this is as far as I leveled my Hydra team. Obviously, I took Red Skull further than this because I'm using him now on war offense instead of war defense, but this is as far as they made it. Bullseye was briefly on Mercenaries. Now he is not. I felt like he was the weakest link. And this is as far as I took my my Kree. So from this point on, all you're going to see is, for all intents and purposes, just tons of minions. Minions are at the bottom. Currently they're an atrocious, awful investment in the game, and they should be avoided at all costs. Not even to attain a legendary character. The legendaries that you obtain by leveling them are not good, and leveling these as a prerequisite is absolutely trash. You should not do that. So yeah, any feedback from chat? We are at the bottom now. Scale 1 to 10, good roster. I don't think I made too many poor choices. I feel like I ultra focused on everything that was important. At the time, it was important. I did, Hulk Hitachi says Zeke's does not improve. Zeke's has a, I believe, G15 fully T-Ford Ravager boomer. Prodigy said Red Skull at T14 was a bit shifty. I actually use him on a meta war offense counter, so I don't mind him at where he's at. I use the team quite a bit, and he's more a kit character, I agree. Maybe not useful to have brought up to 14, but I don't regret it too much. So yeah, this is a what I like to believe is one of the top tier optimized accounts to where I hyper focused on the meta, what was important, and I tried to ignore what wasn't. And yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye.